Welcome back to Geeked Out. Today we will be reviewing the cinematic horror known as Fred 2 Night of the Living Fred. Just a warning, your ears won't survive this at all. There are plenty of survivors in this movie. Your eardrum won't be as lucky. Before I get into this, I should make this very clear. I am not a movie snob. I will not shoot this movie into the ground. So if you're looking for a review where I absolutely bash it just for it being a Fred movie, it deserves it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to talk about the movie as I have a nostalgic sort of feeling towards it. I know it's weird, but I grew up with Fred. I felt like that's something I should have addressed in the first Fred video, and I'll go more in depth with Fred 3. But whatever. Speaking of which, Fred 1 video, I've done that before. If you would like to see that video and haven't yet, I mean, it's the only other video on my channel. I mean, it'd be really nice, you know. Anyways, let's get into Fred 2, Night of the Living Fred. I will recap the movie, give my final review, but before that, talk a little bit about the outside before, the inspiration. Let's go.
The babysitter's a vampire. She's looking at me like I'm dinner tonight. Stay away.
Alright, so before I go ahead and give a recap of Fred 2, I should go ahead and clarify a little bit of the background and production of this movie. Or I guess, the outside. Not the actual movie, but, around it. So, at this time, Fred was like crack to kids. Kind of like what Cocomelon is now to iPad children. Fred was that to kids in 2011. He was the first YouTuber to ever reach 1 million subscribers, and he was greenlit a sequel after the first one. I really couldn't tell you why, because the movie had a $4 million budget and only made back $1.3 million. So looking at the movie's Google page and...
Oh my goodness!
Oh wow, look at that. Another reminder of the pain I'm about to endure by watching this series. Taking a look at what the director has also ended up working on, it's very interesting to say the least. Alright, time to review Fred 2. Jesus. So, once starting the movie, you're greeted with a Lionsgate card. Pretty funny, considering this isn't their first masterpiece. So, Fred 2 starts with Fred saying he was followed home, which is funny considering the first movie began with him doing that. Anyways, Fred goes in the kitchen to make a snack while telling the audience this, and they couldn't get Pixie Lot back, so, you're getting ready to see who they replaced her with. That, of course, being Lucas himself, Jesus. Fred then goes on talking about his day, where he reveals he has a deaf music teacher. I couldn't find a good clip of her, so I'm just going to have this old deaf lady in the background. Yeah, deaf music teacher. She thinks he was good. His new music teacher, Mr. Devlin, doesn't like his music because, he's not deaf. They also couldn't get Jeanette McCurdy back, so they just get the other popular female star of Nick at the time. Fred 2 sees a girl following them home and assumes she's evil. After talking to her, he finds out she's not, and for some reason, this girl likes Fred. Yeah, there's a whole subplot where two main girl characters somehow like him. Anyway, Fred ends up in music class and starts beefing with Kevin for some reason, although, it's obvious they don't like each other. Also, they gave Kevin in this movie the Edward Pattinson swoosh, which is funny because this entire movie is supposed to be a Twilight parody. I don't know why, that's just what they chose. Also, in case you wondered how he played, here you go. So then Fred and his mom get invited to a party at Kevin's house by Kevin's mom. Fred obviously doesn't like that idea, going to his bully's house for a party, and oh god, there's John Cena. And instead of spiraling out and abusing his son like he did in the first movie, and later on in this one, he gives him advice saying go to the party. Just for info on Mr. Devlin, his new teacher. And after getting back from the party and spying on Mr. Devlin even more that night, he comes to a conclusion. Mr. Devlin is the devil. Or just a vampire, I guess. The next day at school, Fred confronts him and this happens.
From the planet of mosquitoes.
Ew, I didn't know mosquito heads looked like that.
I know, right? And I'm like the best looking guy on the planet of mosquitoes.
Fred is then promptly murdered. JK, this is all just an illusion. Sadly. Look at that. Fred promptly also gets another vision that is quite literally the best take on Twilight I've seen. It's quite honestly better than Twilight. I mean, just look at how beautiful this scene is. Oh, good lord, wow.
True, Devlin, but I've got dancing pecs.
But then all of a sudden in the real world, Fred's mom begins dating his music teacher because she finds him attractive. I see it. Whoa, wait, I was joking, I swear I was joking or something. And after awaking from his dream where he was attacked by his bully and his music teacher, they were fighters fighting up against John Cena. Good lordy. Fred learns of an upcoming music recital where his bully Kevin and his music teacher Mr. Devlin will be appearing. He believes that since both of them are supposed vampires, they will turn the entire audience into bloodthirsty vampires. So he prepares by getting a road four-way sign, a four-way sign for a road. Yanks it right out the ground. Goes to a Chinese restaurant and orders garlic sauce while being unreasonably racist to the employees. I kid you not, that's what happened. And to top all this off, he gets a master blaster, and he gears up, getting ready to head for the recital. And once arriving to the piano recital, Fred decides it's time to start mayhem.
Garlic sauce.
That was all a illusion, by the way. Once Fred gets there, he just sprays a bunch of people with garlic sauce and gets told to go home. Fearing that somehow Fred doesn't like him for some reason, he invites him over for dinner. As the king of not thinking ahead, he does decide to say yes, and then live streams the whole thing with that Devlin knowing, and Devlin acts really weird. Just normal weird, though, not Dan the Man Schneider weird. This sends Mr. Devlin over the edge, and he finally decides to quit his music teaching job. Fred, feeling bad for this, decides to make everybody believe he was the vampire all along. So Kevin stabs him, but this does nothing as Devlin still decides to move. And that was Fred too. Now, what did I think of Fred 3, Night of the Living Fred? I would give this movie a 4.5 out of 10. Why, you may ask? Just like you did when I reviewed the same thing for Fred the movie. Fred the movie and this movie, Fred 2, and I'd even go to the extent of Fred 3, but that'll have a different rating, that they're dumb fun movies. There are dumb movies out there that suck but aren't even fun to watch. There are bad movies that are fun to watch. This movie, just like Fred 1 and Fred 3, are dumb fun movies. You turn this on with a friend group just to laugh at how stupid it is. You know, again, like I said earlier, I am not a movie snob. I won't, oh, this film reeks of pure unadulterated crap. No, I'm not like that. I just enjoy movies at mostly face value, but if the movie calls for it, a little bit of a harder look into it. Yeah, 4.5 out of 10. Fred 3 is around the corner. And then on to other things, like other movies, video games, TV shows. Phooey. I have a Spotify full of great playlists you should watch. I'm working on how I would make a Twitter. I deactivated my last account because I had to argue with people on Twitter about a certain person that's very controversial at the moment. Y'all won't find it, trust me. And anyways, until my next video, stay geeky, stay geeked out. I'm sorry you had to hear that.
Say there's a vampire